Here we are. Okay. Hi, it's Moira O'Grady here with Norma Cohen. We are co-curators of the Spencertown Academy's spring show entitled Still Life, Flowers, Fruits, and Foods in Repose. And although the pandemic prevented the show from being hung last year, all of our artists have graciously agreed to participate in 2021. So as part of the Academy's Artists at Home series, we are delighted to introduce one of these artists, Scott Taylor. Welcome aboard.
How are you?
Again.
Welcome to the studio.
Yes, thank you. Scott, I know you have an interesting and innovative space, and I have had the pleasure of being there. I'm going to try and share some images of that studio space right now. And this just tells us all that you're located in Dalton, and I'm going to go to the first slide, which has a picture of the building. Maybe you can just speak very briefly about the building we see in front of us.
Yeah, this is I'm located in a repurposed factory that was owned in the middle of the 1800s through probably about 9 or 10 years ago. It was sold. I've been here for 7. This particular building that you're looking at was the original building, and there's been 2 other additions that have been added to it. And this is where they made envelopes, folded the paper, made the envelopes, and also decorated the actual stationery.
Yeah. And now I know it's home to a lot of artists, of course, including yourself. And I think we see an image of, you can tell us about this. Yeah.
This is the art gallery. There was a large space that they were using for meetings, and at a suggestion, we ended up developing this into a gallery. So it takes a lot of art to fill it up. It's a pretty good sized space. But in the space, there's also other parts of the building. You know, there is a brewery, the Shire Brewery. There is a distillery. We have a lot of healthcare people that are there, body workers. So it's really an interesting family. And one of the things that it also has, the owner, one of the owners of the property is a musician. So it has a pretty amazing space for performance that's located on the other side of this wall.
Yeah, I remember. It was kind of impressive. And
it's pretty stunning. Unfortunately, with the pandemic and everything right now, it looks as though things will be shut down probably till at least the summer, if not longer, of 2021.
Well, we're going to see your hallway now.
This is on the second floor, the north wing. It's got great north light. You can see that.
Yeah. And here's some of the images I remember seeing on the wall there.
Yeah, this is a series of calendar months.
And now we're going right into your studio now. Here we go.
Yep. This is facing the north side. And you can see there's no shortage of work there.
Yes, I know.
They're all my friends.
Right.
This is the wall that I paint at. I have 2 easels, one on the right corner and the one that you see in the center. Yeah. And that's some of the more current work that I'm doing.
Okay. Yeah, excellent. Here we go. Some more.
Yeah, the 2 top ones are works on paper, and they're actually in your show.
Yeah. Yeah.
As well as the one on the left. The one on the right, you can kind of see the connection of it, but these are, I'm using buildings, and this is actually an ode to Fred Rogers, A Wonderful Day in the Neighborhood. I think with everything, in order to keep positive about life, I just simply spent better part of the last 4 years just painting happy. And this is a result of it. So
that's great.
That's a good idea.
You said.
Yeah.
Here's another image for you.
I also, I work on canvas and I work on paper. one of the advantages of moving into a place 7 years ago was there were a lot of paper abandoned here. And so I found the paper that would work the best for how I work, and started using it. It also takes up an awful lot less space.
That's true. And I love this image. I love seeing all your tubes there of paint.
Yeah, that's my studio mess.
Well, I'm going to go and transfer this to Norma now so that we can hear a little bit about your background, your career, what you were interested in, and all of that good stuff. And just in a moment then into this, will show some of your paintings as Norma speaks to you.
Right.
So,
well, we know that you had a business, and then you went to Santa Fe, and obviously picked up a lot of the feelings and magic from that area, and really started to do your work seriously, I think, by that point. And we're lucky to have 2 paintings that are earlier than the other paintings for this show. And we talked about color before, and these are really intense and probably much more conservative than your later pictures. So can you talk a little bit about these 2 for us?
Yeah, I sure can. My wife, I attribute a lot of the flower paintings to my wife. She's spends a lot of time in the garden and creates some of the wonderful vases that we have in our house. So some of those transfer into what I paint in my artwork, and these were 2 examples. My earlier works were painted on a canvas that I would take natural and then paint it with a couple of blacks and from golden, and then paint over them. For some reason at that point, I always felt that I would have more intense color, and it seemed to work really well. And then some of the ones that you'll see coming up, show really more mark making.
Yeah, Moira, let's see those.
yeah, I just put one up there.
Yeah, Joyful Spirit. That it's a joyful painting. I love to see people look at it. I wait and hope that there's a smile. It's just a fun, funky little painting.
Right. And what about the Great Day with Teal? I think it has little Matisse in it.
Yeah, it does. It does. And again, these black still plays a strong part in a lot of the paintings. A lot of them will simply start with Mars Black on whatever brush. Certainly music is an important thing. I move an awful lot, which is why I have a lot of work that's in the 36 by 36 and 30 by 40 range, and 40 by 40, the larger format work, because I really like to move when I paint.
I hear you dance a lot while you're doing your pieces.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Not anything that anybody would want to watch. My wife will tell you that as well, but they start by making what we might call a squiggle. And then I'll step back, look at the work, and try to formulate it actually, whether it would be a flower painting or a landscape. And that really, I wait and look and hope that the painting will tell me something and which way to take it.
Do you do a lot of layering?
I do. A lot of the newer ones probably have less layering because I'm looking for a luminescence, like in orchids that you see. And this particular piece actually has a series of drips that sort of start from where the buds are, and then it's negatively painted in, and then color put on it.
Yeah.
And the last one as well, I would assume.
Yeah, that in the spirit of springtime, and is very similar to the one a couple back.
Yeah.
Again, it's just an expression of putting the paint on the canvas, moving it around, and thinking happy.
And do you start out with a limited palette?
Yeah, I do, but it tends to. I usually work either with 3 or 4, a triad, and start to play with that. But then I call them harmonics. So there's another color that might vibrate next to it that I started putting in. And certainly some of the work, that I'm doing now will show a lot more of that. But
That's the Mr. Rogers neighborhood thing.
that's right. Yeah, these I'm
Series.
looking for harmony. I'm looking for joy and harmony. Those are the things that I'm trying to put into this work.
I do notice a lot of yellow tones in your work. Certainly a
Yeah.
happy color.
Yeah, yeah. I think it's warm, and that's one of the reasons why it's probably there. I like blue.
If I have a minute, I would just like to ask you, who are your heroes or heroines in painting? Whose work do you like to look at?
Well, I'll tell you, we're pretty fortunate here in the Berkshires, having some great museums. And obviously Matisse is somebody that I would look at, and I like, but I love, I love Van Gogh. I love Turner's work. Huge Frankenthaler and Diebenkorn, and Wayne Thiebaud has kind of a graphic kind of feel, and some of my work has that. And then there's a Scottish painter, Joan Erdley, that I absolutely love as well.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Scott. I'm going to now transition out of here and just wanted to wrap up now, and thank you so much for your patience, and thank you. It's a pleasure to see your work again and to speak with you and learn about your process and what motivates you and impassions you. But now it remains unclear as to whether that still life show will be real or virtual or both. And so we ask you all to stay tuned to the Academy updates via email or visit our website, spencertownacademy.org. We'll all be looking forward to seeing more of your work, Scott. Either way, however it plays out. And right now, I'll end this interview with a visual preview of works by the other 6 artists in the show. So thank you, everyone, and enjoy, and see you soon.